Andrew, do you know who Chase Young is?
Yeah, of course.
No. My point is, I don't either.
Before I said that Cade Cunningham would never be an All-Star, and I just wanted to double down on that.
Oh,
I just.
We're back
What's going
with
on
another.
with Mike's video?
I know.
Oh, after a 1 week hiatus, we're back. Let's go. What's up, Jam Squad? I'm MK. I'm your host here with John M83 and Tesla Mace, and we are jam packed. Guys, what's going on? How you guys doing?
What's
You guys
going
doing all
on?
right? See a lot of red going out there in the on the screen.
Yeah, doing it right now.
Game was
It's
a little
been a
too
couple
close for our
weeks.
comfort.
It's been a couple weeks, man. It's this this is a little wild. Why don't we just jump back into this week's breakdown? Week 8 in the NFL. Rams end up getting the win 30-20 over the Vikings. I don't think I saw that one coming. What you guys think of that game? That was a Thursday night game, man. Oof. What a
So
game.
I think with that game, Puka was slotted to play like 2 hours or something before the game. So for fantasy owners, that was real rough. But I also think from an expectation standpoint, the Vikings probably weren't ready for that either. Because with Cooper Kupp coming back, and he was a probable, but not being ready for Puka, I think kind of showed. And the Rams found holes in the defense. And I think they did a good job of exposing the Vikings, specifically on Thursday.
Yeah, I wish Andrew was here because remember Vikings are winning the Super Bowl like 2 weeks ago when what he said or something. So, I mean, let's just call it what it is. Vikings were overrated. They were my understanding was actually before this game they were rumored to go after Stafford. They were actually almost had a deal on the table to get Stafford. So, they're frauds, man. I mean, they are. I'm not gonna say they're not gonna make the playoffs because it's pretty hard to start a season 5-0 and not make the playoffs. But if there was a team, I think this would be that team. You know, because I don't think they're that good. They have some good quality wins, but they've been very lucky. They've been very fortunate. They've been healthy, and now they got a little bit of adversity. And you remember, they're not even in. I don't even think they're in second place right now in their division. So they're in third place in their division. You know, you still got to play the Lions, who look really good. You still got to play the Packers, who, depending on what happens with Jordan Love. You know, sorry, it's been a long day. But depending on what happens with Jordan Love, we'll see what happens there. But they do have a pretty easy schedule coming up, right? Colts, Jags, Titans over the next 3 weeks. So they could stay on that trajectory and make the. I'm not gonna say they're not gonna make the playoffs. I don't know that I could go that far, but they don't win that division. I have no doubt of that. So yeah, they're definitely be a wild card, and I think they lose first round even if they make the playoffs. So that's just my prediction.
Vikings dropped to 5-2. I still think they got a good chance. They still look pretty strong. There was quite the issue with the non-called face mask. That should have been called, man. That was pretty blatant. Like head wrapped completely around. I would have been mad too, especially if I was Sam Darnold. Let's see. The Patriots squeak by 25-22 over the Jets. What's going on in New York, man? Why can't Rodgers figure it out? Or is it not Rodgers? Is it their offense?
The Jets. I mean, that's the answer you get from me.
You think so? You think
Jets,
it's the
man.
Jets?
It's just the Jets do things the Jets way, and this is the Jets way. I mean, that Aaron Rodgers wants to control over there. His control is not working out. They brought in Devontae Adams, and that's not working out. And their defense is bad. I mean, they still haven't signed their big defensive acquisition, Hassan Reddick. It's just the Jets. I mean, it's a crappy organization. Unfortunately it is. It's really a bad organization. I'm so glad I grew up on the West Coast and I'm not a Jets fan. So
I think Tesla's word fraud is how you describe the Jets defense. I think you have one or two solid pieces. I think you have 4 or 5 mediocre pieces, and you don't have a lot of depth after that. So they're going to struggle.
Where's Dustin when we're talking about this? He was the one that said, "Oh yeah, MVP, Rodgers for MVP this year, right?" Long shot, buddy.
well, and not only
Long
that, I mean,
shot.
Jacoby Brissett came in and won him the game. I mean, it's pretty incredible. The Jets are just finding ways to lose. It's pretty bad.
I think the one thing you saw in this game, though, is that their running game was somewhat alive, right? So Brees Hall picks up 80 yards, but you haven't seen much from the running game throughout the last few weeks. So if they can put something like that together and get their running game even consistent, doesn't have to be great, but just get it consistent, open up some play action for Rodgers, you might stand a chance. But Rodgers having to throw he needs some help on that offensive line because he is running for his life. And I saw one play, and I can't remember what quarter it was, but there was a free blitzer, and he ran 10 yards back and still didn't know what to do, and that blitzer just took him out. So I don't know what's going on there, but a lot of holes on the Jets' offensive side of the ball.
Is it me, or when Rodgers was in Green Bay, did he throw a lot of screens? I don't remember him being a huge screen thrower.
Yeah, I remember it being that quick slant game, right? Little
It was quick
5 second
slants or
slant.
down the
Yeah.
field. Like that's all I remember. And it seems like either whoever's calling the plays or whoever drew up this playbook has gotten him out of that. I mean, that was a lot of things going backwards. Uh, yeah, just odd. Philly gets the win 37-17 over the Bengals. Man, strong victory for the Eagles. Very strong victory for the Eagles. I
They
saw
look good. They
part
finally
of the
showed
game.
up. Yeah, they finally showed up. Kind of like a whole team effort in that second half. I think at the half thought it was 10-3, and then they went for it on 4th and goal. Hurts. Are they back to running Hurts every single time at the 1 yard line? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think he got 3 touchdowns running. So,
Yes, he did.
But they
I
did
don't
stop
know.
the
I don't
push
know
push.
long term if that's their solution. Yeah, I mean they ran that tush push like 3 straight times to get it before the half. I know that too. So, I don't know. I don't know. They did well defensively. I think they really held their own defensively. But at the end of the day, maybe the Bengals just aren't that good. You know, 0 and
I
4,
definitely don't think
0 and
so.
4 at home. I mean that's a problem.
At one point, I think, I mean, the running game for the Bengals just isn't there. With Mixon gone,
Yeah,
that
agree
puts a
with
lot of weight on Burrow. Not that Burrow can't handle it, but I mean, outside of Chase, like Gesicki's starting to show up a little bit at tight end, but there isn't really a lot of help there. Like, so.
Well, I think T. Higgins, every game he's missed this year, they've lost. So, and he was out again today. So,
Yeah.
again, I mean, going back to mine and Drew's argument about Burrow and Lawrence, I mean, it's unfortunate because he's got weapons, but yet when he loses one weapon, it seems like he doesn't really do well. So, tough. It's tough. I don't know. I don't know who this Bengals team is.
It's
They're
like
very
they
up
need
and
a
down.
third piece, right? So Gasecki
Yeah.
and Jamar Chase were kind of the 1-2 punch today, but it's like they were missing a third. When Chase Brown is your number one running back, it's not going to do it, right? He's a good person to give like a relief to, but he's not the main back, and neither is Zach Moss. So they're going to need to find something there too soon.
Yeah, I mean, them getting rid of Minxon, they should have realized it, right? I mean, at the end of the day,
Mhm.
Minxon was not washed up by any means. I was a little curious I didn't know much about Chase Brown at the time, but they're not the guy. I mean, they're not, plain and simple.
Definitely. Definitely not. Green Bay gets a 30-27 win over the Jaguars. Strong showing by Josh Jacobs, finally, 127 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jordan Love gets injured on this one, so Malik Willis had to step in. Threw a nice ball to get them the game-winning field goal, or at least within range for the game-winning field goal. Man, this is going to be an up and down season for the Packers if Jordan Love is constantly in and out. That's for sure. Lions get a strong win over the Titans, 52-14. Dude, I don't know about you guys, but I swear every time I watch the Lions, they come out with a brand new trick play. And every time I'm like, oh yeah, they pulled that up. Nope. That's the first time I've seen that one. All right. David Montgomery now throwing touchdowns. Like, you just throwing out all the stops. Which is great if once you get into the playoffs, now you have teams going, okay, we saw that trick play. We've seen this trick play. We've seen this trick play. We're going to have to plan for all of this. Are the Lions just for real, or are they peaking at midseason?
Well, I think the Lions are a really strong team, but I also think the Titans are a really bad team. Titans have to be the bottom three, right? Either 29th, 30, or I'm sorry, 30, 31st, or 32nd team in the league. They had a defense that was leading the league at some point this year, but they did not show up today, right? And then giving the Lions, I think 4 to 5 short fields throughout this game didn't make it any better because the Lions scored on all 4 of those drives. So, yeah. That was rough, I think,
So,
for Tennessee.
so I'm a real quick kind of counter that argument a little bit with what you said, John. Because if I told you one team got 416 yards, one team got 225 yards, which team do you think was the one that got 416? The one that put up
You would,
52, right? You would think.
yeah,
I mean, Jared Goff threw for 85 yards today, guys. 85.
correct.
He didn't
And they
have
put
to.
up 52 points. So their defense actually did very well. Okay, let me rephrase that. Not very well. Their defense played a solid game, but as John alluded to, when you give up a short field, their special teams was atrocious, and the Lions took advantage every single time. Gibbs had 11 carries, 127 yards, so Gibbs was a highlight. But the reality is, they only got 85 yards passing in that game. So yeah, Detroit is proving that they can win in different facets, which is what makes a scary good football team. That being said, I am still, they're kind of, I don't know who they are defensively with Hutchinson gone, right? Titans weren't going to put up points in this game. With Hutchinson gone, we'll see what happens. I'm not going to say they're the favorite to win the Super Bowl at this point, even though I'd imagine most people would. But I will have an opinion on that in about 2 weeks when they play Green Bay and Houston on the road. I wish Jordan Love was healthy in that game so we could get a true gauge as to those two teams where they are.
Yeah.
But we'll find out really soon. I mean, when you put up 52, 31, 47, 42 in your last 4 games, probably the best offense in the NFL at this point. I could say that. But again, how they score today, they didn't really need offense so much as they just needed to get it into the end zone. And they're doing that, right? Again, creatively, Montgomery throwing a little, a pass. I mean, it's crazy, but it is working. So we'll see. We'll see. At Packers, at Texans, next 2 weeks. I think we'll have a lot more of to say after that.
Oh,
2
definitely.
fumbles 2 fumbles in the game. Calvin Ridley, Chiga Kwanwu, and then Mason Rudolph dumped 2 interceptions to them as well.
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph. Good old Mason Rudolph. That's why he left. Well, that's why Pittsburgh got rid of him. Falcons get the win to 31-26 over the Bucks. Solid game, solid showing by Atlanta. I mean, I think it was it was technically National Tight Ends Day. A lot of tight ends in the mix this week.
Both of them, yeah.
But
So
it's
Pitts finally showed up for the first time in 4 years. I just don't understand why they don't target him more, though. I mean, he's getting these touchdowns, and he almost blew it. I don't know if you guys saw his second touchdown.
Oh, he almost blew that touchdown.
He slowed down, and I mean, if that wasn't called touchdown on the field, that thing's getting overturned. So,
Yep.
Definitely.
I don't understand why you slow down and you celebrate like him. Like, he's not in any position to be doing that. Like, you run that thing in and score, but he almost cost his team there. And then Otten tore it up. I have Baker Mayfield in my fantasy team, and fortunately, the guy I played had Otten. So, Baker looked different without Evans and Godwin. I know his stats were still there and his numbers were still there, but they're gonna need a receiver to pick up the slack. Otten did today, but I don't know long term that they might be in some trouble, to be honest, without Godwin and Evans for a little bit. Godwin probably forever. His leg was backwards, so
Yeah, that was bad. So
yeah.
bad.
But Atlanta offense is really good too, in my opinion.
When they show up. Yeah.
This seems like they've showed up as of late, though. I mean, last week they only put up 14, but I guess prior to that, 38, 36, 26. So it's Cousins, right? I think if you pressure them enough,
Definitely.
you're going to be in a different situation. But good win for them on the road, especially.
Shout out to Kate Otten for showing up. And special shout out for his hometown in Tumwater High School out in Seattle, Washington. Well, actually Tumwater, Washington, but still out in Seattle. Cardinals, man, this one was close. Completely different Dolphins team with Tua in it. Gives them an edge. I don't know if it's because of his accuracy. But even the running game looks better when Tua is playing. They only lost by 1 point to the Cardinals. They lost 28-27. A lot closer game than I thought it was going to be.
To your NFC West leading Cardinals, by the way.
Yeah.
Wait, how does that sting? That's sour? It's a sour taste,
yeah,
isn't it?
And it
does,
sucks.
but,
Yeah.
You know. But okay, but if I told you, do you guys know what Miami's record is? 2-5.
Yes, 2-5. Well, it's 2-5
You know what
now.
You know what place they're in their division?
No.
Second.
Oh, they are
2-5, and you're in second place. So,
oh my gosh.
Unfortunately, yes, their offense did look better today with Tua back. I did think they faltered a little bit in the red zone, especially early in the game. Their defense is just not that good. They got a lot of injuries on defense, and unfortunately, I think they got to get it together really quick because you have some really good teams in the AFC. Obviously, your division winners or leaders at this point. I don't know that they could catch Buffalo this year, to be honest. I know there's a lot of season left, but Buffalo looks really good. And then you got Baltimore, Houston, and Kansas City. So I guess they are in it for the wild card at 2-5. But they got to start stringing together some wins, or else they're gonna be down pretty quick. So Tua back is a good thing. It was good to see him, but they play at Bills next week, and so that I think that's a must-win game for Miami. And I think
this hurts my stomach to say, but I think it's hats off to the Cardinals for this one. Having 200-yard receivers is pretty good for anybody, but I think specifically when you have Trey McBride, again, tight ends day, right? So Trey McBride.
Breaking news.
Welcome back, Drew.
Breaking news. Keep going,
Welcome
John. I was into that.
9 for 124 yards, and then Marvin Harrison, six receptions for 111 yards. It's pretty good for Kyler Murray finding them and getting them open.
Oh, real quick too, something about Arizona. Last 4 games, they got 3 wins by a combined 4 points.
Isn't that
So
crazy?
they
Isn't
beat
that
the Niners
wild?
by 1, they beat the Chargers by 2, and they beat the Dolphins by 1. 2 of those on the road. So, unfortunately, it seems like they're starting to put things together. Again, they're still 4-4, and I don't think straight up you take them over the Niners, but you know, they're putting themselves in a good position right now. So we'll see what happens.
Yep, I
Let's
needed
see.
Marvin Harris's point too against John this week in fantasy. So thank you, Arizona.
Outside, I don't know what the numbers were for tonight's game. Did anybody throw over 300?
Tonight?
Did
Uh,
Purdy or
I think
or
Dak
Dak
was
throw over
close.
300? He was close, but didn't.
No, neither one
Okay,
did.
all right. So do you guys know who the leading passer was for this week?
Was it Baker? 330?
It wasn't Baker. No, it was actually
Oh,
Jameis
yeah.
Winston with 344 yards and 3 touchdowns to get the win for the Cleveland Browns, 29-24 over Baltimore. Wild. Absolutely wild. Jameis Winston. Remember when he threw for like 505 touchdowns with the Bucks and then crapped out the rest of the season? Is this a game 1 for Jameis Winston, where a typical Jameis Winston game week 1 win, and then we just not going to show up the rest of the week?
I mean, it was an impressive win. It was an impressive win. I think they were 10-point underdogs, and you know, to come out and win outright is pretty impressive.
I-
To
Out of all the games, that's the one where I never probably would have picked the Browns to be, especially with the way the Ravens have been playing the last few weeks. So that was a definite surprise.
to the Ravens' defense, the play before the game winning touchdown, they dropped a straight up interception, like in the hands, good safety, and Kyle Hamilton had nobody else around him, had the ball in his hands, dropped it. That could have sealed the game for the Ravens. Instead, it's incomplete. Very next play, Jameis Winston throws a touchdown.
That almost happened in that Niner game. I about lost it when Fred Warner didn't get that one.
Yeah, that was close too. Well, because if he didn't touch
Deommodore
it, then
Lenoir was right there. I know.
Lenoir was right
Yeah.
there. So that was wild too. Uncle Drew's Houston Texans get the 23-20 win over the struggling Indianapolis Colts. How are you liking CJ Stroud this year? Think he's having a sophomore slump or what?
No, he's having a great season. It's awesome, man. He had 285 yards, a touchdown, 25 for 37 for the game. And that just seems like a normal game from him these days. So I think he's doing well. I mean, the story for the Colts is they had a good. I mean, Taylor had a great rushing, 105 yards with a touchdown, 20 carries. So they had a great run game just to keep him in the game. So, but yeah, the CJ Stroud, man, he's got the great defense backing him up. So Texans are a good team. Why are you laughing,
He
Mike?
said, because you said great defense, and I just don't see it. But
Dude, the Texans have been playing great defense all season, man.
good defense, not great. There's a difference between those two words. And yeah, sure. I mean, they're getting it done. Houston looks pretty solid. And CJ, I did think CJ Stroud would take a step back with Nico Collins getting injured. I think long term that injury will hurt them. But for now, yeah, I mean, they're gonna win the division, so they look good. They look solid.
I'm pretty sure that wraps up. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure that wrapped up the morning games because that's when the announcer came on in a quiet meeting on super loud. Oh my goodness. Anywho, Chargers get the 26-8 win over the Saints. Saints
Hey,
just don't look the
just
same
really
without
quick,
Derek
Mike.
Carr.
Which the Texans are the second best. Like they give up the second least amount of yards per game in the NFL. Like I don't know. It's like as
So
that
so
how
do
is
the
that not a good
Titans, right?
defense?
So do the Titans, I think. So I mean, we're gonna call the Titans a great defense.
Well, the Titans are 1-6, dude. The Texans are like 6-2.
So, but are they 6-2 because of the offense, or are they 6-2 because of the defense?
The Texans don't score a lot of points, man. That's all I gotta say. Look at their games.
They do or don't?
They don't. They have
I mean,
relatively
23, 22, 41, 23, 24. Outside of one game of 7, they've scored 19 plus every single game. I'd say that's a pretty good offense.
I would love to take 19 points as a Raider
Yeah.
fan.
I think that's
they
that's
had
more
20,
than the Chiefs.
They had 20 tonight.
That was
23.
by luck, bro. That was by luck. They should have had more. You know how many times we were in the red zone and came out with 0 points? This is wild. That's just absolutely wild. Should have had way more than that. The Saints just don't look the same without
Hey,
Derek Carr.
let
for
me ask
sure.
you this, Andrew. Name 2 people
Yeah.
on the Titans defense. I mean, on the Texans defense. 2.
On the Texans defense?
Don't look at your phone. Don't look at the computer. Name 2.
Dude, I
John,
can't
can
name
you?
two.
John, can you name 2?
I can't name 2 people on anyone's defense, dude.
John,
That's
can
not
you
even
name
a
2
fair
on
question.
on the Texans
Ask
defense?
John.
I can name
Ask John.
without looking. I can name Petrie, and then I can name older players. I can't name the other
Mike,
Yeah,
ones.
how
Will
about you, Mike?
Anderson. Will Anderson and
Will
then Petrie, who
Anderson,
had the
right?
Anderson.
Jammer.
That
Yeah.
had the
Oh
interception.
yeah, I
That's
should have
the
named
only
them,
2 I
yeah,
know.
Will Anderson.
I'm
Will
just saying, like,
Anderson.
Stingley
they're
too,
solid.
Stingley Jr.
They're a solid defense, but they don't have like that guy, in my opinion, to be great.
They
They're
have
solid.
Danielle Hunter too. I didn't realize they had Danielle Hunter.
Yeah. Yeah, they signed him over this last offseason.
I didn't realize that.
So they're solid, but I mean they're winning games because their offense is really good. I mean they have an elite run game, they have an elite pass game, they could sustain drives. That's what's carrying this team, and they don't need a great defense. But in my opinion, I just don't think it's great. That's all I'm saying. It's good. It's good defense, not great.
The
Who's
Bills
better?
completely
Chiefs. I think
dismantled.
the Chiefs have an elite defense, personally.
Yeah. But I also think that's an elite defense because of the coordinator. I don't think it's
Agreed.
like if the scheme that they run is impressive. Just
Yeah.
impressive. What Spagnuolo does to disguise his blitzes. You know, he'll show a blitz on one side and then drop them back and actually blitz from the other. And the mind games, the chess play that he ends up doing is on next level for sure.
I mean, what John said earlier about the Jets defense, they're frauds, right? But if you go statistically, they're the number 4 defense on yards. So yeah, Houston's number 2, but let's not forget Titans are 1, Broncos are 3, Jets are 4. And so it's more than just yards is kind of the point I'm getting at, right? When you're looking at defense, yes, you could pull up a stat saying,
Turnovers and everything else too. I get
turnovers,
it,
sacks, pressures, right? I mean, time of possession, right? Their offense holds the ball so much that the other teams just aren't having the chance to get as many yards. Again, that's just my personal opinion with the great versus good. But yeah, I mean, if they keep it up, I mean, we'll have to say. I just like I don't go into Houston saying I fear their defense. I don't think anyone does.
but I think you're saying. I mean, Titans only giving up so few yards is actually impressive. The problem with the Titans, they literally have like one of the worst offenses in the league, right? Like, so they're still losing. My point is
True.
the Texans aren't giving up yards, and they have a good offense too. Like, that's why they're winning, right?
It's the only
So,
reason why
but
the
wouldn't you say
Raiders are
that that's
losing.
more impressive that the Titans have such, since they're losing games, how are they giving up so few yards? Like to me, you're making an
Because they
argument for
can't
Titans to
score.
be late. Right,
Like,
but that doesn't that mean the other team has the ball constantly and then they're still only giving up that few yards?
yeah. So they
I
had
mean,
a good defense.
again, you look at things a little
Except for
bit deeper,
today,
right?
they got lit up by the Lions.
That's gonna throw
Straight
their
lit
average
up.
off.
They
Yeah.
got
But-
killed.
I'm
But
going
they
to drop to
didn't.
number 5.
But they didn't, to be honest. Like you know how many yards they gave up to the Lions? You know how many? If you saw that score 52 points by the Lions, Andrew, how many yards does Goff throw for?
Yeah, you would think like 500, right?
He
But I
threw
think
for
he only had like
85.
Yeah, he didn't even have 100 yards.
They returned like 3 punts for like to the 20-yard line. I mean, it was just a short field the entire game. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
you look at stats, obviously over 18 game season, right?
right.
Or a 17 game season, it's a lot. It's a lot better than over an 8 game season. So, I just
I
personally
guess
do not
I'm just
think
going
it's
off
fair.
of like what I've seen. Like there was watching some games where it looked like the Texans should have lost, and CJ Stroud actually made some errors where he almost gave up the game, and their defense basically just finished the game out for them and kept it like they were up, and then CJ Stroud turned it over, and the defense saves him, and then he turned it over again, and then they saved him again. So like I don't know, I've just seen some really good end of game things from them, so that's why I think they're a good defense. But I hear what you're saying. You got to look over the whole season, and we'll see how it goes. But
I mean, let's not forget they beat the Colts twice, the Patriots, the Jaguars, and the Bears. So
yeah,
don't get me wrong, the Bills was a great win for them, but outside of that, that's their only team over 500 that they beat all season. So, until they, I mean, next week they get the Jets, right? In 2 weeks, I'd love to see that game, Lions versus Houston, right? Then we'll have
Right.
some more data on it. But for right now, I mean, beating the Colts twice, don't get me wrong, divisional opponent, good win, but they beat the Patriots, they beat the Jaguars, they beat the Bears, right? I mean, we're not talking about
yeah.
really good football teams at this point.
And they lost to the Vikings and the Packers. So you're right.
Bro. Where are you at? Why are you not on?
But you can't fault a team either for their schedule. So I get it. Right now, they look like a solid team. I guess as a fan in the AFC, like I'm still not saying they're a contender. Like I got Chiefs, Bills, and then maybe Houston. Personally.
Speaking of the Bills, they completely dismantled Seattle's 31-10. Sorry, my Seattle family. I'm going to apologize. Kind of. Sorry, not sorry. The Commanders was probably the best Hail Mary
Real quick,
I've
in that Bills
seen.
game, in that Bills game? Why is Amari Cooper not on the field? Like I got him in my fantasy league, and I'm like, oh cool, he's number 0, right? Nope. Oh cool, he's number 10, right? Nope. Oh cool, he's number 86, right? Like I don't even know what number he is on that team. I literally had to look it up today. He's not even seen snaps, and I just don't get it.
Don't look at me.
Ray Davis,
I don't know.
though, the backup running back for the Bills, Ray Davis, someone to look forward to, I think, in a couple of years. I think he needs to put on a couple more pounds, but as long as that doesn't slow him down, that kid's going to be really good.
Oh, definitely. I know you guys saw that Hail Mary. Washington beats
Commanders.
Chicago 18-15. Caleb Williams goes in, scores the go-ahead touchdown, or puts them in position to score the go-ahead touchdown. Only leaves Commanders a few seconds left. Commanders now, to me, the play wasn't even the Hail Mary that shouldn't have even happened if they didn't allow that out route to get them into Hail Mary position. Like,
Well, don't
if
you think-
what's that?
Don't you think all the defenders should have been in the proper
Along the sideline
area?
Yeah.
Did you see the one taunting the fans instead of being in the end zone where he was supposed to be?
Exactly.
During the play. That's crazy.
Oh my god.
And he's the one that tipped the ball up too.
Yep.
I just don't get how you don't either knock it forward or let them catch that either. Like that, they didn't go to the end zone. Like who cares if they catch it at the 2-yard line. Like, just tackle the guy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's so many
Well,
issues on that.
you're
but,
not all supposed to jump. Like,
Yeah.
what are there, like 5 defenders? Nobody stayed back. Like, that's something you got to like talk out, right? That's a game plan type thing. All right, if we have a Hail Mary, you three, who should probably be your highest, your guys with the highest verts or your tallest guys.
Here's what's crazy about that is I thought Jaden Daniels had like 10 more yards. He could have stepped up to throw it. I was
Dude.
like, why is he throwing it from the 30? Like, he still had like 7 yards to go. And I'm like, what is he doing? Yeah, it's crazy.
Especially, okay, so on a Hail Mary, why you have that many people dropping into coverage? You only had 3 rushers, right? Then you had
they had 4.
No, they had 3 rushers. That 4th guy was just spying, and he was only spying Daniels. And so he didn't actually go upfield until Daniels started to scramble. Daniels had 13 seconds to throw that ball. That is wild. Especially if okay, like there's so many things that came into play. Receivers had 13 seconds to get downfield. If you actually rushed that 4th person and made Jaden Daniels step up into the pocket or scramble, make him run. Make him actually run. That you're basically sealing the game.
Yeah.
Instead, you decide to drop 8.
I think they needed
guys?
Yeah, I don't know. That's just incredible.
Anywho, that's just me. Don't mind me. I'm just a high school coach. The Broncos end up getting the
We didn't
easy
even talk
win.
about though. That's rookie of year battle right there.
That is a
Right?
rookie of the year battle.
Yeah, and Caleb Williams looked like trash for the first 3 quarters. I think he had like 60 yards. And
Yeah,
then the 4th quarter he
pretty
came
much.
back, and I mean,
Garbage yards.
it was not a good game. But you know what? The Bears didn't deserve to win either. I mean, when you go up for the first time, but what's crazy is that was Washington's only touchdown that game too. So I don't know how you could say they deserve to win either, but it was bad. It was a bad game all around.
All right,
Broncos
then.
get the.
Who's your pick then? Caleb or Daniels? Daniels having a better season, right?
I think so. But I think he missed a game with injury too, right? So, for you're talking about rookie of the year?
Yeah. Or you got someone else? Neither of them.
No, I think right now you got to give it to Daniels because his team's 6-2. So I think that's the more impressive. Taking a trash team to the top of the NFC East at this point is pretty impressive.
Over Marvin Harrison?
Oh yeah, Marvin Harrison's no.
Marvin Harrison's playing pretty well actually. He's fantasy wise. He's doing numbers for me.
You know me, I just like poking the bear.
How many games has he been doing well? His first 2 games, he
I was gonna say, I think he had 2 good games.
I think his first game not so great. His second game was amazing for fantasy at least. No, he had another game where he did. You're right. He had at least 2 games where he played not great, like terrible. But,
well, remember he got concussed in that one, so he missed in the
right.
So I think
he's had 3.
I think he's had 3 bad games and 2 good games, if I'm not mistaken.
And his first game he didn't play terrible at all. He was open 2 of the 3 times he should have been throwing the ball, and they didn't throw it to him.
Oh yeah.
One was a touchdown. One was like a 60-yard bomb. He just had to look up.
But I mean, I really just don't think he's in the conversation for rookie of the year. I don't even like he's not. Yeah. If anything, I don't even have the best receiver for the year. I think Malik Neighbors is a better receiver than Marvin Harrison right now, and that's with him missing 2 games. So that's just my opinion. But I have to look at the numbers.
No Pearsall. No McConkey. McConkey's playing well.
I don't want to ever talk about that guy. I'm down 10 points in fantasy. I'm down 10 points in fantasy, and I got Amari Cooper. I got Amari Cooper and Terry McLaurin and Dak Prescott. And this guy's got McConkey. Who's winning? McConkey. Freaking 60-yard catch. Are you kidding me? Like, Letting this little Julian Edelman type kid just run by you. Oh man,
2 touchdowns today.
I was pissed, dude.
You need a Julian Edelman.
And then, like I said, Amari Cooper like did a no-show. Guy just didn't even play. So yeah,
Something's going on with the Bills.
if you tell me, McLaurin and Cooper versus McConkey, heck, don't even include Dak. Who's winning that matchup? 99% of the time.
It's just not your year in fantasy,
Dude,
brother.
I'm tired of like no-namers going off. Like if Derrick Henry wants to get 50 on me, that's fine. But
Like,
McConkey,
who's this Wes Welker guy?
like I laughed when he put him in the lineup. I was like, why did he make a change? Like last week, I think he went up against a kicker who got like 27. I'm like, you kidding me? Just can't catch a break.
I just keep drafting. I just keep picking up running backs for the 49ers, and it all works out for me. So.
Oh my gosh.
It's like every single. I'm like, how many? Yeah.
That's another guy I don't want to talk about. Dad. I told my dad in my other league, I'm like, Dad. He's like, keep the faith. I'm like, watch, Jordan Mason gonna get injured as soon as he gets in the red zone. 2 plays into the game, I texted him. Well, he didn't get into the red zone, but he's injured.
Yeah, I did have him in my lineup this week. That hurt me, but all good.
That's why
The Chiefs remain undefeated, squeaking by the Raiders, 27-20. Yeah, we'll just move on from that.
Are the Chiefs gonna lose? Like really?
Okay. Did any of you guys watch that game?
Patrick Mahomes does not look good. He's thrown an interception 8 straight
No, he
games.
looks terrible. He looks bad, but it looks even worse when like guys are bumping him and he flops, and then they get a roughing the passer call.
Passer.
Yet on the other team, they're getting blown up. Like quarterbacks are just taking massive hits, and then nothing. Oh, really? That looks really bad, dude. Like if you're gonna call it, I get protecting your stars, but be somewhat consistent.
Right.
Yeah,
Like if
I mean,
obviously Minshew flopping, okay, fine. I get you not throwing that call, but well, we're talking at least a step or two after the throw, and you're getting laid out. Not like wrapped up in like, oh, I'm dragging you to the ground. I'm talking he got laid out, decleated. I'm like, oh my. Any other quarterback. I mean, I get the Raiders have always been hated in the league, right? They've they're never gonna get like the craziest calls. You know, they've always been viewed as kind of the bullies of the league. Oh, they play dirty, they do this, they do that, whatever. But if it was any other quarterback that got decleated, flags are coming. There's no way.
Right.
There's no way you're not throwing a flag on any of those. Well, except for if you're Sam Darnold and get face mask, get your head turned completely around in the end zone. And then yeah, sorry, we didn't see that. How do you not see it? It's right in front of your face.
yeah.
Oh.
Did Hopkins even play today?
I saw him suited out.
Did you?
I'm pretty sure he got a couple plays in, but I don't know what his play count was.
I don't know, man. The Chiefs just look right now to me like a juggernaut. Like I feel like offensively, like this was the same thing last year towards the end of the season. Like, oh, Kansas City offense taking a step back. Kelsey's a year older and slower, and then in the playoffs they put up 30 points a game, and it's like who's gonna beat them? I mean, really, who's gonna beat them? Are we gonna trust Lamar Jackson to beat them? Buffalo is Buffalo gonna like get rid of the demons and beat them? I mean, the only guy that could beat him is Joe Burrow, and he ain't even gonna make the playoffs. Like, who could beat them?
Here's the remaining schedule.
Every game's been pretty close.
I know, but isn't that like the definition of a good team? Like, they just find ways to win.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, who they got coming up? You asked the question, are they going to
Bucks.
lose this season?
So they
got
play the Bucks next.
Bucks, Broncos at home.
Broncos
Okay.
is a plus 500 team.
So are
Bills
the Bucks, right?
plus
But
500.
at Bills.
No, Bucks are 4-4 right now.
Oh, are they?
So
Okay.
yeah, they're at 500.
They started out good, and then they've kind of lost the last few. So Chiefs and Bills.
Well, Broncos and Bills. And then I mean, then they play Panthers, Raiders, Chargers. Chargers are
Browns.
1 game plus 500. Browns looking terrible.
Home versus Texans.
Yep, home versus Texans.
Steelers, Broncos.
Steelers are.
So
I mean, they're favored in every
Iffy.
one of those games, right? With maybe the
they're
exception
playing
of
the
that
Bills in Buffalo. I think that's probably the game they might lose, if any.
Yeah.
Maybe. No, I was gonna say maybe the Steelers, but I already talked myself out of that.
If they lose any games, it'll be towards the end of the season. Week 16, week 17.
Sitting guys out, right?
Right, sitting guys, resting guys to make sure they're good for playoffs. After they've solidified their week 1 bye.
Texans.
Think about that.
Steelers,
If they beat the Bills and the Texans, like they could literally have that bye clinched by like week 13 or 14.
Yeah,
because they would own the tiebreaker against Baltimore, Buffalo, and Houston if they win those games. I mean, I know we're still talking a long way out, a lot of hypothetical, but I mean, dude, they look really good.
If they stay healthy, I mean, I don't think there's not much. There's not much that'll.
I mean, we say if they stay healthy, but like at the end of the day, they lost their running back, they lost their receiver. like
right.
They're the definition of next man up, right? And I mean, you know, Kareem Hunt comes in and all like guy wasn't even in the NFL and he's running for 100 yards last week. And I mean, it's crazy. I just the system is so good, you know. I don't know,
Reed,
man.
Baby, Andy Reid.
They just win.
Constantly getting teams to just be good.
I don't know if John's frozen or mad at me for saying that, but
no, you're good. I'm listening.
Okay.
I don't have much to say about the Chiefs. You guys said,
but you do have a lot to say about the Niners Cowboys game, which is next. They squeaked by, dude. That was the more concerning part. They squeaked by 30-24 tonight. Squeak by. What's going on in the Bay? What's happening?
You know,
you guys just like close games.
Again, we'll get double-digit leads, and then I'll look to somebody else who's close to me, or I'll text them and say, "Here we go, there's a double-digit lead," and we just wait to give it away. So I don't know if our defense is gassed at times. You know, we score a field goal, and the Cowboys take 3 plays to march down the field and score a touchdown, and it's a dominant touchdown. It's like a 35-yard catch, you know, a 14-yard run, another 30-plus yard, you know, touchdown, and I don't get it. I'll take the win, right? But it gets frustrating to watch us lose 17-point leads and 14-point leads quickly, and it kind of takes the breath out of the fans for a little bit. I'll tell you that.
Yes, I agree with that. But the third quarter was fun to watch. So that first half to me was frustrating. You know, too many penalties, too many. You know, I texted my buddy at halftime and I said, "Man, too many penalties." He says 6 for 49. I said, "No, it's 6 for a heck of a lot more when you take away that touchdown." It's you know, Garendo getting a first down at the right before the end of the half being taken away, and now we have to kick a 50-yard field goal. It's undisciplined. It's not good football. That being said, we go to our bye at even 500, and hopefully we get Christian McCaffrey back. Hopefully we get Dre Greenlaw back in a couple weeks after that. Jake Moody comes back. I was happy with our red zone offense today. When we got in the red zone, we got touchdowns, especially in that third quarter, and that was big. So at the end of the day, again, we have a plus 28 point differential, only one in our division with a plus, you know, point differential. So I think the Niners can go anywhere in the playoffs and win a game, maybe with the exception of Detroit, but they're in that game. So let's just win that division. Let's just be healthy going into the playoffs. Debo was gassed, came out like every 2 plays today. He had pneumonia, was in the hospital for 48 hours this week, and he ended up getting another rib injury. I read an article that said the Niners' healthiest receiver is a guy who got shot 5 weeks ago.
Yep.
Like that's pretty sad. Guy got shot in the chest, and he's our healthiest wide receiver right now.
So
So
wild.
Jennings comes
Because it,
back, right? Jennings comes back, and you put out Jennings, Debo, and Pearsall with Kittle out there and McCaffrey. Like a lot of problems get solved, in my opinion. So yes, I would like a couple more wins here and there. 2 specifically, but we're okay. Like we're tied for first in our division.
yeah, and I
We're
also think too if we had to have some sort of luck on our side, I think Purdy's been playing good quarterback play. I don't care what anybody else says. I don't care what the news says. Like kid's been playing good quarterback play, but I would say good kicking from us. Outside of the giving the ball up at the 40 because kick the ball out of bounds on a kickoff,
Yeah.
field goals are being made, right? And I think we've been
50
struggling
yard
with that
field
for the last. Say it again.
50-yard field goals.
Yeah. We've been struggling with that, and what is our third kicker this year, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
at least happy about that.
Isn't that Daniel Carlson's brother?
Yeah,
You
I
guys
think
took
so.
him up from Green Bay.
Green Bay.
He was on Green Bay last year. Our
So
kicker
like
was on
technically I can root for the Niners then.
There was
I'm
a
playing with
moment
you.
today
I'm
where
playing
I
with you guys.
almost stopped rooting for the Niners, man. I was just like, this is not fun to watch. I texted John. I'm just like, who are we? Like this is embarrassing, honestly. And then the third quarter, whatever Shanahan said in at halftime, I mean, man, they got things going, and our defense turned it up, and Mustafa looks solid. Um,
Yeah.
don't throw at Diamador Lenore, right? You get Dre Greenlaw back in there. It's a whole nother story. I just we need some more rushers, in my opinion. That pressure, I feel like Bosa's a one man person out there, and it's not enough. But
Well, one of the hardest things that we don't talk about is the fact that Javon Hargraves is out for the year with I think it's a triceps injury, right?
yeah,
That was our run stopper. That was our run stopper, and anybody that wanted to rush towards the middle, he would even break the middle sometimes and get a sack or two.
Right.
I mean, when you talk about injuries, like we go up and down every position, and there's some sort of injury somewhere. So, I think we're doing okay, hanging in there. Happy for the bye. I feel like that's a win, simply because we won't lose. So, I'll take it, and then see how healthy we can get coming out of it.
You guys excited for it?
the bye
Excited
week,
for
yes,
the bye week.
very
I can
much
tell.
so.
You guys need to get healthy.
I read the rumors that McCaffrey's going to start practicing during the bye week, but
Don't
see.
read the rumors. Don't read the rumors.
It might be happening, guys. Just
They-
want to get your
that-
hopes up,
They're just rumors.
Kittle
just
had a good
rumors.
game too, guys. I like seeing him get some yards.
He better have a good game. If it's National Tight Ends Day and that's his promoted day, that's like an extra birthday for him. He better have a good game. I'm sure he went to Purdy and was like, "Hey, you got to throw me two big ones. I got to get 2 big ones today."
I mean, 100-something yards on six receptions. It's a good day.
Yep.
We got a tough schedule coming up, so we got to get healthy. At Bucks.
Yeah, what's with that?
At Bucks, home versus Seattle, at Packers, at Bills. That's a little tough stretch right there. So it's not going to get easy for us. But we've dug this hole. We just got to get out of it. So
Right on. We'll see what happens. I will actually text you guys about making picks for this next week. And then we'll continue that spreadsheet. For those still watching, make sure you subscribe to us at JAMM Podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube and make sure you click that notification button to view us live. We are, for the time being, live every Sunday night, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's hopefully changing soon. make sure that let us know how you feel. By subscribing to us, you end up joining our raffle. We are going to have a raffle for this next couple of weeks. And anyone who's subscribed to the channel will be automatically entered in. So make sure that you do that. We'll be raffling off quite a few sport cards, and we'll make sure to post on Instagram exactly what those cards are. Till next week. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Jam Packed. Until next time, make sure you stay safe, be kind to one another, and we'll see you all next week. All right, fellas. Have a good one.
Go Dodgers.
Later.